Ooh, big awkward. All right, Algebra 1 on married Monday the 17th of August. SWBA students will be able to, you guys, by the end of this lesson, will be able to write algebraic expressions, section 1.1. We already started this one, right? Okay, so we've already done a lot of it. We've done this slide. We've already talked about the important terms. We know what variables are now, expressions, factors, products, powers, all of that good stuff, okay? We've already talked about some of these keywords and what they mean for operations. And we already went through writing the algebraic expression from the verbal expression. That's actually what the question that Abby asked a minute ago was about anyway. Now, we're going to go on to writing the verbal expressions. We're going to go the other direction, okay? We're going to be given the algebraic expression, and we're going to be writing it in words, okay? So something that can be really helpful for this, if you're struggling, okay, is to go back through and look at the other examples we just did. Excuse me if I can find it. And the other examples we just did on the front, numbers 1 through 4 there, or when we went the direction at first, okay? Or look at our homework, and that can help us and say, okay, well, how did I go this way? That can help you reverse it sometimes, okay? So, we have this fraction here. Does anyone have an idea of how we could write a sentence for this? Emily?
The product of 8 and x squared divided by 5.
That'd be amazing. The product of 8 and x squared divided by 5. That'd be amazing. That works great. Great job, Emily. So some keywords that I want to point out that Emily used here very strategically is product. Okay, product means multiplication, right? So she's saying she's multiplying 8 and x squared, and that's what's happening in the numerator, isn't it? And then that fraction mark, like we just talked about, means division. So she put divided by 5, because that's what's happening down here. Now, we don't need a comma or anything like that because, number 1, there's no parentheses. Okay? And also, number 2, order of operations tells us that we would just do left to right what comes for the multiplication and division. Multiplication and division follow in the same step. We'll talk more about that later today. But we would just go left to right and how that goes. So since we see product before divided, we would do the multiplication before we do division. Any questions on this first one? All right. Does anyone have an idea on the second one? Take a look at it for a moment here. Okay, and does anyone have an idea on that? Alice, what are you thinking?
Y to the 5th minus 16 times y.
That'd be excellent as well, okay? So y to the 5th minus 16 times y. You might be wondering, Mr. Kossel, can we write the number 16? Yeah, you totally can. I'm fine with that. Can we write 5th as 5th? Yeah, I'm fine with that as well, okay? Now, I know when we were going the other direction, a lot of times I have that as the same, okay? So that kind of helps us out. And you don't have to just say a number on this one. We actually want to be a little more specific and just say the y, like Alice and Emily have been doing, of saying x and then saying y, because it actually gives us a specific variable, so we want to use that same variable. So y to the 5th tells us this power is going on, minus 16 times y. So if you were to read this and you were to go the way we started with last class, you should get this exact same expression. Any questions on this one? I tricked you on that one, okay? So on number 3, think about it for a moment, okay? And raise your hand if you have yourself an idea of this one, okay? Brady, what are you thinking?
8 to the 3rd.
Okay.
Plus 4 times b.
That'd be awesome. A to the 3rd plus 4 times b. So Brady knocked this one out of the park as well. A to the 3rd. Could we have worded that first part a little differently too if we wanted? Instead of a to the 3rd, could you say a something else? Okay, Jocelyn, what are you thinking?
A cubed.
Yeah, you could have said a cubed, right? Okay. You could have said a to the power of 3, right? Okay, there's a few options. A to the 3rd works just fine. Plus adding, and then 4 times b, getting this 4b over here, okay? Any questions on these three? You guys are great. Okay. So now what I'm going to let you do is I'm actually going to give you a little bit of work time here to work on the second half of this worksheet. Okay. The second half of this worksheet is doing the same exact thing. Okay. It's doing the same exact thing. So I'm going to give you a little bit of work time right now, and then we're going to go back through and to our notes, and we're going to do section 1.2 today. Okay. So we're going to do section the back half of this worksheet right now. Okay, so and it's just going to be the odds on the back as well. The odds on the back as well. Okay, so it's 17 through 25. Okay, and we're just doing the odds. Okay.